Hey, this is Marc and Arun from Pyxis Mobile. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but once again we've locked ourselves here in an office to share with you some of the new and exciting things that we're doing at Pyxis Mobile. Today we've got an instance of Oracle CRM on Demand that we've mobilized, so we have it running both in a browser and also across a few different devices. We've got iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry.
So yeah, Mark, like you mentioned, we have CRM on Demand connected here, and it's simple but very effective application for CRM for retail execution, pharmaceutical sales. I can go into my accounts, I can look at my deals, I can look at upcoming opportunities, upcoming appointments as well, all from a smartphone. So I have an Android device here, my trusty Nexus one.
So what I've got here is my BlackBerry running the same application. So everything that you just mentioned, the contacts, expenses, opportunities, I have that running here on my device as well. It's really cross-platform at its best. Now, if you've heard of Pyxis Mobile before, you may have heard that we're very strong for back-end data integration, so connecting to things like Siebel, Salesforce.com, Oracle CRM on Demand, hitting proprietary back-end databases. That's stuff we've been doing for years and years. You may have also heard that our UI, our actual client applications, are best in class in terms of richness, variety of features, security, and those kinds of things. Now, you may have also heard about Pyxis that our offline story is a little bit light in terms of storing data locally. So Arun and I are here today to actually tell you the truth about that and to show you some neat stuff that we have going on here at Pyxis Mobile. So, Arun, you got your Nexus 1. Why don't you put that offline? Why don't you turn on airplane mode and put that device completely out of coverage?
All right, sounds like a challenge. So, all right, so here's my home screen, but I'm going to go back to my application screen, and I'll press and hold my button and put it in airplane mode. So you can see that it's going to tear down the connections and shows a little airplane there. So in this case, it's an airplane mode, but like it could really mean I'm in a conference room, I'm traveling and in a place without coverage. For whatever reason, there's a lot of ways you can be out of coverage. Alright, so I'm back into the application. My screen's available, but let's actually dig in a little deeper this time. So let me go into my accounts. So that goes in, it pulls up my list of accounts. I can see all of them right there. I can also slice this data a little bit, so I can take my accounts and see it by customers or by prospects. Not only that, I can actually go ahead and do a find as well. So I don't want to be scrolling through dozens of records, right? So I'll just go ahead and type in Action, which is a company I'm trying to search on. All right, I think I got that there. Do a search, and you saw how quick that was, a local search that came back in. The stolen offline right here. So I'll go ahead and pick the Action Rentals. So far we've been in the list mode, but now we're actually going to drill into the the customer card where I get the information about the address, primary contact, and so on, and I can actually act on that record as well. But the related activities and related contacts as well. So it's actually taking the account and pulling up sub-items from that account. So you can see the previous history of activities, and I can also go in and look at other contacts. So that's sort of relational data that's right on the device. So all of this is possible because of an embedded sync engine that Pyxis Mobile features. And I showed you a bunch of read scenarios, but you can make changes as well. You can add records, you can change phone numbers here, and all of that will be available offline right on your device.
So how does that actually work? So you said you can make changes. So let's say that I went in and maybe changed the phone number or added a new meeting. Once you make those changes, I assume that you, at least with traditional sync solutions, you have to hit a sync button or connect the device. So is that what you're doing to send up changes to the back end?
It's actually a lot simpler than that. So yeah, traditional sync, there is a sync button. You have to know when you're in coverage or when you're out of coverage, and you have to know if it succeeded or failed. But Pyxis Mobile takes that a step further in our groundbreaking design here. So I can actually go ahead and come into my contacts list here. As you can see, I'll pick Doug Allen. So to kind of show you this in action, I'll actually add an activity against Doug Allen here. So you see this person's contact information here. I'll say add new activity. So let's say we want to record a breakfast. All right, use autofill there. I'll say it's a meeting. I'll keep today's date, and I'll say it's in progress. I'll leave everything else blank. I'll hit the save button. All right, so that activity is added. So remember that I'm still out of coverage, right? So that activity has been added. So when I go back to my home screen, you can see that breakfast now available in the upcoming seminars, or sorry, I should say appointments. It's available right there. So, I could keep operating on this data. I can add new activities. I can change that activity as well. But to kind of show you this in action further, right, let me actually go and put it in coverage. So, and this can be a lot, I could be driving back into coverage. So you can see the connections firing up again. And as a user, I'm just kind of doing some of the technical details here, but it's all automatic behind the scenes. So I'm back in coverage. Haven't taken any action within the application. And now let's go flip over to CRM on Demand here, right? So you see CRM on Demand here. My calendar is empty. And if I refresh the screen, and there's breakfast at 10 a.m., breakfast with Doug Allen. That's the contact I picked. It's right there in my calendar. As a user, I didn't do anything fancy. There's no sync button, and there it is.
So that's pretty good. So, I've got an iPhone, so how would I go about getting that new data onto my handheld? Is it like I mentioned before, do you go in and hit a sync button, or hit a button that says, request new data now? How does that work?
What is this, amateur hour? Come on. Just like there was no sync button to send things up to the server, the fact that you're subscribed to the same data set means that data will be pushed down to your device automatically behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about checking to see if there's new data. You don't have to remember to hit sync twice a day. Why don't we in fact check your device, check your iPhone, see what's available.
All right, so I've got my iPhone right here. So in fact, you're right. So I just got a little notification saying that the sync is completed. And if I look at my screen right here, I can actually see the new breakfast that appears up in my calendar automatically. So that's pretty impressive stuff.
Good. So and in fact, what you saw there was our store and forward technology. So it went up from my device to the server, back down to your device, and neither of us knew who's offline when I'm online.
Right. Now the nice thing about our sync feature is that you can choose exactly what data you want coming down to the device, how much of it, how frequently you want the data coming down. You can also, within an application, you could choose that maybe you don't want to sync some of your data. So maybe you've got Facebook statuses or a Twitter feed or news or market data, and that data changes by the minute. So maybe you'd rather have that be in a real-time mode with some caching rather than a complete sync. The nice thing about the solution is that you can configure that really on an entity basis, and that gives you full control over how much data is coming down and maybe how much data is kept in real-time mode.
Yeah, so those type of hybrid applications are always possible, and like I said before, it's built on top of Pyxis Mobile's existing capabilities, the backend infrastructure that you talked about. It's enterprise grade. It's been battle tested for several years now, and you get the same security features you come to expect of us: ability to remotely wipe the data using our data guard feature, even if it's lost, encryption on the device, and in transport. All of that available on all of these platforms.
And maybe the best part is that all the syncing, all those properties are configured with just a couple of checkboxes in App Studio. It's very easy. It's so easy that even Arun could do it.
Ouch. Well, that's the power of Pyxis Mobile.